name is Summer and I'm from In Bloom Floral Design on Balboa Island, and today I'm going to show you how to design your own bridal bouquet. The first step involved in doing a bridal bouquet is to prep all the flowers. And I've actually already done that. So you want to remove all the foliage from the stems, remove all the thorns if you're using any roses, and remove any bad petals or anything that doesn't look nice. And you'll also want to make sure that whenever you give the flowers a trim, just go ahead and give them a nice trim at an angle. Do that with all the flowers, and then it'll be a lot easier to get going if you have everything prepped and ready to go. So as you see, I have all my flowers ready to go here. So the second step is to assemble the bouquet. What I'm going to do is I'm going to start out with 4 nice full roses. And you also want to make sure that when you get your flowers that you get them a couple days early so that they have time to open, so that they're nice and full and pretty. So I'm going to start out with 4 roses as the center. And so you want to get a good dome shape. So you start out 4 in the center, and then you want to build around that. So then I want to use a couple different types of flowers in the bouquet so that it gives it a little bit more dimension. And what I do is I just start with one hand working around, and you'll want to keep working in front of a mirror. I always work in front of a full-length mirror, so that way it helps me to be able to check my work and see what I'm doing. But as long as you just keep going around in a circle, and make sure that the stems go in at an angle as you go around. And you also want to make sure too, if you're working with different colors, that you get a nice mixture of colors in the bouquet and they all don't clump together. So you want to distribute it equally throughout. And as I'm working, I'm making sure that everything goes in at an angle, and I'm holding really tight onto the stems, because if they'll move, they tend to shift around and move if you don't hold on tight. So just make sure that everything stays tight and that you go in at an angle. And you always want to work with keep holding on with one hand and then use your other hand to grab the flowers and to build around. And always just, every so often, just take a peek into the mirror to make sure that you're keeping your shape round. You can always adjust later, but it's easier if you just keep it round as you work. And I also forgot to mention that you should probably start out with anywhere from 30 to 60 flowers is probably a good number when you're selecting what flowers you want to use in your bouquet. And the flowers I'm using today are roses, mini calla lilies, and alstroemeria. They're all really good flowers for bridal bouquets. They make a nice round shape and they're easy to work with. Okay, so once you have all the flowers in, you want to make sure that everything is round and symmetrical. So this is when I look into the mirror and I hold it as if I am the bride, and I make any adjustments to make sure that everything is perfectly round, nothing sticking out further than it should. And that way it's a lot easier to do that now than after you've secured the bouquet. So I pull everything down to where I want it. Check it from all angles. And once you're happy with the shape and the design, I like to add in a little greenery around the edges, so that way it gives just a little bit of finishing touch. And you can use, this is lemon leaf, you can use any kind of green that you want. Lemon leaf works really nice with bridal bouquets because it's got a nice bright green color and it's easy to work with as well. So I just sort of take the lemon leaf and go around the edges as kind of making a collar. And you don't have to use greenery. You can use other types of greenery. You can fold tea leaves around the edges. It's really up to you what you want to do with the greens. So the third step is going to be to secure the bouquet. So now that you have everything together, hold it really tight, and you want to use a rubber band for this part, just to get everything solid and secured. So what I do is I just take the rubber band, a really large rubber band, and put it about 3 to 4 inches below the flower heads, and just work it around so that it goes down the stems, and then I secure it like that. So now you've got it secured. And you also want to double reinforced with floral tape. This is green floral tape, and you just can get this at any supply store. Just go ahead and take the floral tape and wrap it around quite a few times just to get it nice and secure and really tight. And the key is to hold everything really tight here so that things don't shift around, because they will shift until you get it all secured. So you want to secure this. And leave your stems long as you're working too, because it makes it a lot easier, and you trim them at the end. So you have your bouquet, you have it secured. Now the final step is to finish it off with a ribbon. So what I do is I use double-faced satin ribbon. It looks the nicest once it's finished. And I cut a strip about 48 to 60 inches long, and I start out and I tuck my first piece underneath the rubber band that I'm working with. Tuck it underneath and make sure it stays straight, because you don't want any creases or folds in the ribbon as you're working with it. So just go ahead and get it in there straight, and then you'll take it and wrap around and down in a spiral down the bouquet. And as you're doing this, hold it really tight and keep pulling it really tight so that it's secure, nice and secure and tight. You don't want it to be loose. So as tight as you can get it, working down. In this part, it's really up to you, depending upon what look you want, how far down you want to wrap. Usually take it down at least 8 to 10 inches down the bouquet. And then you want to leave enough so that when you come back up, you have enough to go all the way back up. So then you start working back up, until you get to the very top, back where you started. And then for this part, you can use any type of pearl head pin or crystal pins, anything like that, to go ahead and secure this off. You want to push your pin through the ribbon and through the stems, kind of go in at an angle. It makes it a lot easier and doesn't pop out the other side. And at this part, you can really do any pattern that you like. You can use the pins and go all the way down the wrap. You can just put 3 of them here. And you can also, at this point, you can use another strip of ribbon and go back through and tie a bow, if you prefer having a bow here. But otherwise, once you're done, you have your stems long, and then you want to cut them to your desired length. Sometimes I leave them a little bit long, some people like them completely cut off, so it's really up to you. But then at this point, you just want to grab clippers and just cut them all so that they're exactly even. When you have them all straight across, the bouquet is done, and you want to store it. Make sure you store it in water, and then use any type of finishing spray. Crowning Glory is what I use, to give it just a little spray so that your flowers stay fresh and they will keep throughout the whole day. And that's it.